Welcome back, everyone. It's Saturday morning again, and I'm going to do the Build the Back to the Future DeLorean issue number 12. This week is the left rear wheel hub and suspension. Put that off to the side for a moment. This is the kit. Again, I've taken it out of the plastic bag. See if we can reduce the amount of glare on there. But we get our rotor, various pieces. There's two major assemblies. Most of this goes onto the chassis that we've been building, and then there's a couple of pieces that go together and are going to form part of CV joint or something like that. So yeah, that's the kit. A couple of sets of screws. First thing I'm going to do is make sure all the screws that are supposed to be here are here. So let's get started. There's quite a few kits in here, screw kits in here. So we have some IM screws. We have some BM screws, some EM screws, AP screws, HM screws, and CM screws. So is that everything? BM, CM, HM, EM, AP, and IM. So that's the screws we need. Put these off the side for now. And it looks like in these cases they've given me at least one extra of everything. So hopefully we don't need them, but we've got some pieces available if it comes up. So step one here. Fit the rear hub carrier, which is this piece. Another magnet in it. Looks like they moved the magnet. Oh no, I guess it's just the metal stop for it. Yeah. So this is the hub carrier. And that is going to be affixed to the radius arm. I can remove it from its plastic tomb. So that is the radius arm. It is sort of a C-channel. And that will be affixed with CM screws. 2 of them. Well, I guess I'm going to put them up here because I'm covering up all my magnetic bits with the chassis. And off the side. So that's going to go together. Let's get this screwed in. Check the screwdriver fit first. Seems okay. So, Saturday morning, still August, still the worst month. Yeah, some pretty terrible stuff has happened to people I know this week. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but one of my friends' significant others was seriously injured. So yeah, August. That's how August works. It's always pretty much a terrible experience, and nobody is going to convince me otherwise. So, yeah, using the JIS Japan Drive screwdriver again, because they are much less prone to cam out and round off screw heads, and that worked real well for that piece. Tighten those up a little bit more. No, that's as tight as they're going to get. So it's not going to be a super fixed assembly, but that is so far. Step 2, we are going to insert the end link, which is another small little piece, if I can remove it. And where's the actual link piece? That must be this guy. Come on. There we go. So we have a link, a little kind of dog bone shaped link, and we have a small bracket. And those are going to go together. I can figure this out. Yep. And that is going to be attached with an EM screw which are those, or some of those screws that have big pan heads on them for allowing things to keep pivoting, which I take it this piece is going to do. Fit up on the screwdriver is good. If you watched my Ghostbusters video from last week, I had some issues with a screw that rounded out very rapidly. And I had to actually extract it, which was a pain. This is going to be a little bit of a pain too. I wonder if I can pre-thread this slightly and then back it out, and if that will help at all. Yeah, that's a good plan. So I've got a couple threads cut now into the end of the link so that it won't be quite as obnoxious trying to thread it in. Because of the paint again, the link really would prefer not to fit in this hole. But since I pre-threaded it a little bit, I was able to, without using force, thread it in. And now I can tighten this up and go on. Okay, so now that that is assembled, that is what that looks like, if we can get the camera to pay attention. So it does move still. It's got a little bit of a wiggle, but not much. It's 99% rotation there. So we're going to use a BM screw to attach this bracket to the chassis that we've already got fairly thoroughly assembled. Get that out here. Bring the chassis on. That one wheel is always going to want to drop. See if I can move my instructions so this makes a little more sense to me. Okay, so this piece is going to go on here. There is a pin on the top of that actually aligns with a hole here to make this potentially less of a mess. Potentially. Yeah, it works fine. At first I thought it wasn't going to fit again because of the paint, but that they seem to have cleared correctly. So now we just gotta line up the other hole. It would help if this screw would stay on the screwdriver. Just thread that in nicely. Not too bad. Alright, you gonna behave yourself? Yep, okay. So now we got a bracket attached, and that's not going anywhere because it's screwed in on one side and pinned in on the other. So it's nice and secure. Now that first bit we installed, going back to this guy, is going to get attached to this using an EM screw. We're going to get one of these guys out. This is going back and forth between a lot of different screw types. A lot of the kits before, when they have a lot of screws, you may remember, do 5 of one and then 4 of the other and then 3 of the last one. But this one seems to be back and forth. So that is going to go on down here. There's a little screw goes, and again with this cap screw that's going to be able to pivot, and it's presumably going to fit between all of these pieces that we've got going here. So we'll get that attached. It's kind of awkward attaching this, just from location, placement of these pieces. Using my left hand. I am not left-handed, but I can operate a screwdriver left-handed. I think anybody can operate a screwdriver with their non-dominant hand. It's, maybe muscles you don't use the same way as often, but it shouldn't be a major issue. Obviously I'm sure there are exceptions, but Not trying to get into that stuff. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick to using these Japan cut screwdrivers, because I have not had a single cam out yet today. I shouldn't have said that out loud, because now I'll get some. Right there, just cammed out. But I think it's tight enough. I think it's down on the post like it's supposed to be. It is. So, yeah, I'm going to take some other screws, HM screws, and start putting this linkage together into the hub carrier itself. So these HM screws are quite long. The IM screws are actually even longer. This is going to screw through from the back side. I'll try a smaller driver just in case. Yeah, that's a better fit for this one. It didn't feel right loading it up. So this passes through from the back with a lot of coaxing. I don't know. Geez, again, not a lot to talk about at the moment. I've obviously started, playing with some music on the channel. It's kind of just been using some jazz tracks that I have available with a license through YouTube. Their own licensed music that's available to everybody, I guess. It's fine. It's okay music. I've just been using a few tracks that I like and kind of looping them together. Because I don't know. I can play a couple instruments. It's been a long time since I have, so I would have to, relearn some. But I, once upon a time, could play the violin and the saxophone reasonably well. So I suppose if I had to, I could figure out how to do that again. Okay, so that's the screw through. Comes out just barely out the other side and starts linking these together. So while there's a little bit of movement, it's not a huge amount. Lets the wheel adjust, presumably on some suspension. Step 6 is building the brake calipers again. So we have caliper and the disc. So this is the disc, that's the back side, that's the front side. There's a little bracket on it. And the plastic caliper itself, nicely molded little plastic caliper in silver paint. Maybe even silver plastic. And this is going to be attached with those AP screws because it is plastic. So we need one AP screw to attach this. And I may have to go to a smaller screwdriver again because these are teeny tiny. No, that works okay. So this goes on from the back side. I guess that was the front, it's not the back. So that's going to look like that. And it gets attached on the back with one AP screw, which was nice and easy to do. So that is the one screw in the back holding all that together. Step 7 is to take the shock assembly rod out of the tray and thread an IM screw through the bottom of it. One of these long IM screws. Like I say, these are substantial screws for length on this kit. These are probably the longest screws had on this so far. And they just need to be threaded through this at the bottom. Not sure it even needs to cut threads, but it says insert through, so that's what I'm going to do here. And it certainly shows the screw head going all the way up to the back end of it. It doesn't push through. I can't just slip this through, but it really doesn't feel like it's actually cutting any screws on this. So like the last couple of clicks it actually pushed, but it was not until then. Okay, so place the brake disc into the rear hub carrier and raise the lower link up to the bottom of the disc brake. I'm and then put the IM screw through the hub carrier, brake disc, and link. So this is interesting. They've got this all standing up on its side in the picture, which I think I will do as best I can. Hopefully not damaging anything in the process. So this is going to go on carrier. Magnet helps hold it in place. That lower linkage goes through, and then this whole assembly is going to try to thread in. So, yay! It's threading. That's a good sign. And we're into the disc brake. We're about to hit the linkage. And we're still threading. And we're threading. And we're threading. I'm going to back this up a little bit. Great. Whee! Probably don't actually want to put that in there because it's going to get a spring. Ooh, I'm going to put this in my lap for a little bit better leverage. Yeah, there we go. Whew. That was a little scary. So, that is all together there now. Several pieces linked together through. So what do we do next? Next we do install this spring. Lower the spring onto the shock assembly. Big coilover spring. And then I bet this is squeeze it and put it together. Yep. Squeeze the spring down. And line everything up. Is that spring? Yeah, it's supposed to stop on that. And okay. And this is going to be attached with another EM screw. Going to take a little bit of compression to make this work right. Maybe I can get it started. Yep. And once again, as this kit has required backing out a lot of the screw cutting dust to make these fit better. Particularly with these kind of cap screws. Okay. So, I can get that a little bit better. Perfect. Whew! That is an assembly. There's a tiny little bit left here, and that is the, they just call them part. They don't even tell you what they're supposed to be. But like I say, it certainly has the same kind of look as a, well, it looks like a CV joint, but that wouldn't make much sense on the rear since it's not rear steering. But, you know, some part of the actual power to the wheels. This is where I hit the limits of my automobile knowledge, apparently. So, this goes on. We have a little angle bar here, and the piece is going to go on the end. And this piece, I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see on camera, but it has ribs on one part of this, and the other side is smooth and has a couple of molded bolt heads, basically. So this goes on such that the molded bolt heads are actually towards the round bar, and that the flutes are on the outside. And this apparently spins pretty freely, and this is going to go on with a BM screw. Goes in the end just to hold it all together, which is a little tricky because it's a round piece that I have to hold while I try to turn a screwdriver. This almost needs a vise with some masking tape or something on it to try to reduce the amount that you do the damage. Well, I think that's as good as it's going to get, and again, this seems to be intended to spin freely. Yeah, I gotta see if I can do better. Let me take this all the way apart. can't tell if this hole, I mean, it's a blind hole. I can't tell how deep it actually is. And get as much swarf out as I can. It's not a great fit. It's like the hole was drilled the wrong size too. Well, let's see if that helped any. Yeah, I think that's as good as I'm going to get. And then, the only remaining step is this little rubber bit pushes on the end. And I guess that will, yeah, that will actually stabilize it some. So that's good. So, hey, it spins, but it doesn't wiggle like it used to because there's a piece of rubber up behind it. Perfect. Okay, so that is the build for this week, and it's a little tough to get it all in frame, but we'll try. Back this up. Ooh. We don't need to hover right now, guys. So that is the build so far. Next week for this is a short one again. It is the first rear wheel, and then I believe I have the next bit of rear suspension. Presumably that wheel goes on. I'm not sure. Maybe there's a third wheel, fourth wheel after that. But that's what the completed build looks like. You have to save that other bit of suspension for later. And if you enjoyed watching this, you can check out the entire playlist if you haven't seen it already. You can also, of course, subscribe to my channel. Click on the cap there. And we also do a build the Ecto one from Ghostbusters, so if you'd like to watch that, that playlist will be up as well. Otherwise, have a good one, guys.